Hello and welcome. We're picking up where we left off last time in Victoria 3 as the Great Qing in our run in 1.9.5. This is the beginning of the second stream. And we got a lot of stuff, I think, going that should allow us to start very rapidly industrializing and raising the GDP. I think already, in comparison to the run in 1.8.7, we already have higher GDP earlier. So really, we're already ahead of the pack. Maybe not as far ahead as we'd like. What was I bringing this up? So one of the things I think we're going to try to take advantage of today is we have a powerful, reasonably happy armed forces here as China. In the case of China, they have this ability called newly created army, which normally provides 15% military goods cost reduction. But when the armed forces is powerful, it'll provide 30%. So that combined with peasant levies, which is another minus 10%, combined with our company, which when this activates, and it should activate, I think. Or at least we can get it to activate, is another 10%. So that's 30, 40, 50. We have, in power block, we're going to go for militarized industry 2, which provides another 15%. So that's 50, 65% military goods cost reduction. And at 65%, we're starting to be at the point where what we're paying is like what the building chain makes in profit. And the rest is coming from the void, supporting the entire thing. Another thing we could try to do is try to trade for... we might not be able to trade for it everywhere. Try to trade for military assistance, where we can. Though, I think this is what this is implying, is that we can't get it from France because their power production isn't large enough. 12,000, almost 13,000. So we might not actually be able to go for that one. Yeah, I think we're not allowed to go for it because we've got so much for our own military production. So they've added a modifier in there that precludes us from getting that. Okay. Not that the British would be willing, but yeah, they don't have the power production. So our army's already so big we can't get cost down. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to sort of play off of that to build up a really strong and large army, so we don't have to worry about getting attacked and can kind of sort of intimidate everyone else down. Also, a lot of those military goods are the end of the production chains for industrial goods, so that'll help us grow up the industrialists. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to go for as soon as we're done with all these textile mills. It'll give us a little bit more time for the... well, for us to pick a militarized 2 and for the armed force, or the factory one here, this one, to get profitable. And I think it will get profitable. So I may have, looking at it, we may have overbuilt the explosives a little bit. We'll see. Okay, there's our new mandate. So we can go to militarized 2. We got a little bit of a high gold reserve, but I think that'll be fine. There's modern sewage, so that's going to allow us to build things faster, although it won't make us really have much more construction unless we take advantage of the higher construction max level. We're not going to do that right away. Yeah, that's something we should do. We should pick up dielectrics so we can increase the university output without increasing universities, and then we'll probably do central archives. And then probably with central archives, we'll start contemplating trying to pick up some law improvements, such as swapping over to National Guard, maybe swapping into colonial fairs. Some colonial resettlement. While I'm waiting for those buildings to build, I'm looking at a lot of our subjects. The ball's a little grumpy, Persia's a little grumpy. Okay, so all the puppets are vaguely appropriate, but the principalities, or the protectorates, still need to have the liberty desire come down a bit. Radical Portuguese, okay. Suppose... No, Portugal doesn't like us enough. You're owned by Portugal, okay. Trying to figure out if I can get Macau back right now. We've got this treaty. Can I renegotiate the treaty down to 5 years? 3, yes? We'll send it and see if they'll agree to coming down to 5 years. That looks like a no. Interest. Trying to negotiate it down is not doing anything. Like, I'm not even getting told I'm getting told no, which is what I would expect to be told. Am I getting the infamy from withdrawing, or are they getting the infamy from withdrawing? Interesting. Not sure. Don't need the infamy right now, so let's not try. And at some point we should also contemplate doing sort of the same with the French. Yeah, because right now our defensive pact treaty port 1 is no longer binding. So I could withdraw from it. Lose the... We'd have to stop giving the money, we'd have to stop doing the defensive port. In theory, we're unable to remove the treaty port, but I think we'd be able to negotiate for it back, potentially. I think we'll hold on to this for the moment, until at least until we get the army repaired. Improve relations with Portugal a bit. We've got the power right now, so let's do all our subjects. Which is, I know that might seem a little bit weird. Some of those people are technically subjects to subjects. But that basically makes them our subjects indirectly. Oh, interesting. This used to bring up a different map menu, if I remember correctly. Remember that used to bring up the willingness to join the map menu, or join the group. It still does, it's just a different zoom level. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just get going. Oh, we'll probably want to build up, and it'll be pretty quick to build up. Let's build up a couple government admin. Make sure we stay positive on the bureaucracy. Where are we building these right now? Western Gudong. Western Gudong, I believe, is one of the places we've got road maintenance. Yeah. Looks like we're importing a little bit of sulfur. We're exporting silk dye, merchant marines, importing food, importing clothing. Which does mean as we make clothing, we'll just import less clothing as well. That's probably why the GDP is going up pretty strongly right now as we're making clothing. I suppose I can queue up the fleet construction I'm planning on doing. And I know they've redone, or they've modified a little bit how the commanders work on the fleets. I'm going to play as if they haven't, just because I'm not sure how well that works. So that's going to be one fleet. Then I'm going to build one more. Okay. 200 large fleets once they're complete. And we'll work on the army after we've got the boats for the navy built. Basically doing similar sort of thing. Also, we're probably earning a little too much money. Let's queue up some construction sectors. Just to accelerate money consumption and construction. You just want me to give you stuff. Well, you want me to sell you stuff. I'm assuming it's asking for this because this is actually just profitable. So we'll just accept this. This wouldn't necessarily surprise me if that's just profitable. So sure, we'll agree to it. Oops. Monarch just died to be replaced with the new monarch. Still scholar officials. We don't know who or what the heir is yet. Okay, and our bonus from the opium ban is gone, so that means it's time to repeal the opium ban. May also be time to reduce some of these taxes. Just get the authority consumption about balanced. Yeah, and that, given the fact that we've got the gold reserves full, that's probably about the expenditure rate we want. And we do want to keep government bureaucracy positive. Oops. Make sure I got the finger on the right key. Otherwise it's not going to go to the front of the queue, but it's going to go to the end of the queue. Patent stills. So the question, I suppose one question here is, do I want to begin making liquor? Liquor is a little expensive right now. So that is something we probably want to make. Or at least make more of. Okay, let's do this one step at a time. Swap over to pot stills, see how the liquor price responds. Starts going up. So let's turn it up again. And it also goes up a little bit, but not much. In theory, this is something we can export and may want to export. We're currently importing a bunch of groceries, so we'll probably want to make more groceries as well. Got a new agitator. A modernizer. For certain things, that's kind of what we want. Moves us from agrarianism to laissez-faire or interventionism. Allows us to get off a land-based. Prefers public school. Maybe we will take advantage of him. Yeah, and I think we can even make a stable government pretty easily, yeah. So we may take advantage of him in a moment. Oh, the armed forces stopped being powerful. That may change as we expand the armed forces. The other way is, can we get more military? Yes. Just below 20. Another one? Yes. There we go. They're back to powerful again. And we're starting to build up the... Well, we will start to build up those boats soon. There we go. Whether we are or not at this point is depending upon how much the private queue is pulling. And the boats build real fast. Well, the docks build real fast is maybe a better way to put it. There's dielectrics, so we can go ahead and prove the efficacy of the ports. Or not of the university, so we go from 40 innovation to 60 innovation. It's mostly going to go into spread. But that's not bad. I'm going to go Central Archives next. And the philosophy department. One of our generals just died. Which? Oh, it was one of the ones from here. Grab another armed forces one. As you may be seeing, I am trying to keep the armed forces powerful status, even as we're industrializing, which is in theory going to make that harder to do. Okay, that's an improvement to the arms factories, or the cannon factories. Don't have any of those currently. We also don't have anything consuming them yet, so that's probably fine. Oh, one thing I should do. Frigates take how many boats? 1 man of war each, and man of wars are 3 man of war each. They got about a 50-50 balance between them. So it's about 100 plus 300, so we need about 400 warships to go in the queue. Military shipyards. Okay. We'll probably run that a little bit short. Let's go ahead and just run that as... So that... Wait, no, I just queued up too many. I only need the 10. The 10 will be fine. Okay. So 10 is 350 before throughput modifiers. The throughput modifiers technically bring it up to 385, which is probably close enough that we can leave them being a little bit extra profitable and still get a reasonable price on supplying the fleet. And I think that told me I had one military shipyard. Yeah, let's subsidize the shipyard for the moment. Get it hiring up. Sort of compensate for the fact that we're paying for it either way, right? And to be fair, we'll be over-consuming, so it'll be fine. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to do some troop rearrangement. This is the conquered ones over in the west here. So let's actually just disband you. That's the same with the 16th? Yeah. You're not even line infantry, oof. Yeah, disband you. Okay, so, the 15th and 16th are going to become expeditionary armies. So we're going to build these guys up as light 50-50s, I think. So they're going to be 50 line infantry. So I was going to search my unemployment here. Okay, so that's 50 line infantry. Do the same in the 16th. That queue enough up? Yeah. And then we want to give them also either 50 cannon or 50 cavalry. In the long run, cannon's going to be better for killing. And I'm maybe a little less worried with this expeditionary force than it has good cavalry. The alternative is I could shuffle the cavalry over to it, I suppose. And then build up the home guard with cannon. Yeah, let's build up the home guard and cannon. We'll shuffle the cannon, the cavalry over to the 15th and the 16th. So the 15th will give you all the lancers from that stack. This one has 40, so we'll go ahead and give those 40 to 16th. And these 10, we're going to go ahead and give this to 15th. And we'll give that a moment for those guys to get into position. No, we want you to hang around, so we're going to buff you up. We want the literati happy, not necessarily powerful. So I'm tempted to abandoning either would be unwise. Although I don't really have anything to make the French committee happy, so I suppose we can just have them give up on the French committee. The anti-British one will be easy because we just start wars with the British. And we have a get rivalry with the Brazilians. Diplomatic actions? Yes. Also, as the fleet builds up, we get more interest that we can use to place places. Both for trading purposes and getting involved in incidents. Lobby demand fulfilled. Okay, we've got our heir, so we know who's next, though. Scholar officials will still be next. Fine, that's really reasonable. Traveling, not quite there yet. That's, interesting place to... Oh, because I have the 15th is out over here, is it? Is that actually where the 15th is? Stationed at Iberia. Oh, so that was Asturias that's up there. That's why I'm not being able to find it. You know, we'll keep the 15th stationed out there. That's fine. 15th will be stationed out here. The 16th will be... The 16th is in Persia. Okay, let's bring you back to China proper, because you're probably going to set sail from somewhere. And our Persian HQ right now is kind of landlocked. And then we can go ahead and add... And your... Yeah, okay. 15th, 16th, the red banner, okay. And these guys are going to want... Probably to receive general. You want to steal off the existing ones, or give him a new one? Probably give him a new one. with Petit Bourgeoisie. We're thinking about potentially empowering the Petit Bourgeoisie. Only to level up to 4 for what we want for these guys. Your armed forces will just promote you all the way. And then you've got 35 cav. We'll go ahead and give you another 15. You've got 40, so we'll give you another 10. And then the rest of our recruiting pool is probably mostly going to get spent providing cannon to the home guard. In theory, the home guard is building. Hasn't demand-wise risen to the point where it's actually using the military shipyards that we've got built, but it is staffing up. And as it staffs up, it will consume more and more ships. And then we're thinking for the home guard, we'll give the home guard cannon. Or at least try to. We'll see how much we can hand out. 71, so another 70. Okay, that'll give us balanced 50-50, unless we call up the draft. Go make this one round number as well. And then like 250, 255, 245. Some of these places might not have... Oh no, does look like they'll have enough. Okay, we're up to 60. Let's swap over to just job seekers. Make sure there's just enough job seekers to fill up the units. For another 40. We can afford it. I think we can afford it. There we go. See how that army looks. Should be sufficiently terrifying. Keep people off our backs. Power Block Embassy in Ritag, Portugal. So SIAC. What happened to the SIAC? Oh, it's no longer binding. Okay. That was a more spooky pop-up than I was expecting. Send him to the power block. And I think we've already made you 2 subjects, yeah. Why aren't you willing for a power block embassy? Oh, because it's a sovereign empire. That's fair. I get them investment rights. They can now trade through us, which is fine. They get a power block embassy. You know, we'll agree to that. That doesn't sound too bad. Okay, so they're opposed to giving us Macau. That's fair. Okay, so it looks like I should just be able to buy it back off of them pretty easily, in theory. May even literally just be able to just buy it off of them. Like 85. Yeah, may just literally be able to buy it back off of them. For 5-year loan. Okay. We'll contemplate that once our troops are rebuilt. Or once our troops are built up. You want to see us go over to either colonial resettlement, or we can offer the Union the National Guard. I think we want National Guard more. Colonial resettlement is kind of tempting to do as well. Let's see what the opposition is between these ones. So, National Guard, barely opposed. Is only opposed by the literati. Whereas, I mean to go one level, not go back all the way up. Colonial Affairs, however, is opposed, or Colonial Resettlement is opposed by the rural folk, who are a little bit more powerful. Also, arguably a little bit weaker for us right now, because it's just migration attraction in unincorporated states. For this to be really valuable, we need to get colonial offices. Go run up to like Colonial Office 3, we can get infamy generation against unrecognized powers, which are a lot of the people in our local area that we want to punch. With the exception of like Russia and the UK. So we could technically run that up to like fairly high and get the infamy cost down on a lot of people. Which is a tempting thing to do. We didn't do that last time. Tempted to do it this time, to be fair. We want the state construction efficiency. Oh, I must have overwritten, because I assumed I already had that. Overwritten it for the, accidentally for the military one. Or I went for the military one first, anyway. Do we want to go to military 3? I think we're going to pass on military 3. Military 3 isn't super valuable. Yeah, we'll at least delay military 3. Construction or their colonial offices? You know, let's go colonial offices. And we will agree to trying to pass that. We may fail, but we're going to try. And now we're getting rapid demand for cannon and guns. And the boats are a little bit expensive. Oh no, the boats aren't a little bit expensive. The boats are actually a little cheap. We're kind of exporting boats right now. We're waiting for the Navy to build up. Now let's not pay the extra bureaucracy cost here. Colonial resettlement fails, colonial resettlement fails. Colonial enthusiasm. We're not necessarily even going to be colonizing right away, so we're going to go for... We'll take our rightful play... No, slow down the laws and signed yet, so we get the extra enactment chance. Because, yeah, it might be a little bit hard for us to take the dash over to quinine. So we could probably do that. We could probably go pharmaceuticals, quinine pretty easily. And then we wouldn't necessarily be the fastest at colonizing. Okay, someone else was dealing with that phone call. Muted the mic while the phone call was happening, or the ringing was happening. Oh, instead of building up more bureaucracy, we just got a new technology that makes all the bureaucrats more effective. So we should just enact that. It's going to make paper expensive, so that's probably the next thing we need to build is much paper. Maybe not turn everything on at the same time then. Turn a couple on at a time. There we go, that's more reasonable paper price. Unpopular compromise, yeah. There's... Okay, kicked on filing cabinets as we finally picked the identification documents. I am going to go ahead and make the dash down to quinine. If we're picking up colonization, being able to colonize the places in the rural area are somewhat valuable. I'm a little surprised that the Man of War price hasn't shot up faster, but... to be fair, that's the hiring rate on the boats, right? So the fleet, in theory, will consume 400 ships when fully hired. Realism... Yeah, okay. That's the Art Academy, so we might as well swap that over. Realist art and independent artists. Yeah, after the military, well, maybe a little bit as we're doing the military, because we're going to need to do some after the colonial resettlement. But we're going to try to build up the government bureaucracy, so that we're in a position where we can probably swap off of isolationism. Because yeah, 15% more taxation capacity is nice. But once we've actually sort of adapted to full bureaucracy, we're not going to need that. We just need it now when we're not there. I suppose the other thing we need... Well, we're going to need some cannons, but apparently we're importing the cannons fairly well. Some more paper. Say at least 22 more levels of paper. At least 20 levels of paper, let's say. 8 there, 11 there, 1 there to start. Again, our economy scale is capped at 20 until we pick up mechanized workshops, giving us another 10. which might be what we do after Opium. We get not Opium, quinine. We get quinine, and we can then pop over very quickly grab mechanized workshops. Three more interests that we can declare. We're going to poke into Ethiopia, the Nile, and Niger. Yeah, and of course, the expanding army has now solidly put us first amongst the great powers, as our army is large and very intimidating. Maybe still somewhat backwards, but, you know, sometimes quantity is all you need. Oof, that construction efficiency in the Tarim Basin. At least in theory, as we hire these people up, they'll get, it'll lower the construction efficiency mouse in here. I mean, I have a 100% success chance for colonial resettlement, so it should go through in 2 more cycles, hopefully. Asturias, okay, so recruiting from the Spanish is maybe not going to make... Well, we'll make people happy, but in the short run, may not be the quickest to recruit place. We've got incorporated states everywhere, right? Oh, no, we've got one more in there that we can add. It's not a full state, but... Well, it's a divided state, so maybe we can do anything about it. And meat. Or canned fish. What's our fish to meat ratio? Fish is about balanced, and we got like 2.5k supply. Meat is actually quite expensive, so we're definitely going to do canned fish. Resettlement. Let's do a little bit of government realignment, bring in the Petit Bourgeoisie. And then everyone in the government should support the swapping over to National Guard. I think if you want to pass laws that people are going to be really opposed to, secret places are really strong. But we don't really need to do that as the Qing. Whereas National Guard, if you're just trying to like minimize disasters, is the best for disaster minimization. The liberals oppose it, of course. No, the liberals don't oppose it enough that it's not a real problem. Okay, one other thing we should do is we just swap some more of the government bureaucracy over. which regularly means I should put even more paper in the queue. And as you can see, we are now getting through all the barracks. Oof. Production efficiency Yania being a problem. What do I want to do about that? I want to do something about that, because that's obviously not a great thing going on right now. Let's borrow it from Shang-Chi. Oh, we have another one here. Probably go for the colonial offices, reduce the institution cost. Okay, we might try to appease them. We might try doing something like swapping to right of assembly. Getting off of censorship here would be good for losing that tech spread reduction. Okay, that's pharmaceuticals. Means you can pick up quinine. Oh, and I don't need to... We needed to raise it for the authority gain. We didn't need to keep it there. Oh yeah, so changing that construction efficiency did help a lot. Get those done now. And then we just work on paper. Big demand for paper. We're going to have even more demand for paper when the National Guard is done. So yeah, we're going to be building paper for a while. Make away even a little bit more swapped over. Yeah, I suppose technically as I swap more over, either more paper mills are getting completed or more trade centers are swapping over to it as well. It's helping a little bit. Ooh, that was that the port upgrade or the trade center upgrade? They're both in the same tab, so we should be able to find out pretty quickly. Looks like that was the trade center one. So we got bulk trading, so it's going to be 50% more quantity for 25% more merchant marine. I think that's acceptable. The next port one is industrial port. Okay. Because that's helped a lot with the paper, because I think we're importing some paper, so it's 50% more paper getting imported, yeah. Nope, that's everything swapped over. It's maybe not a good sign, because that means I need to build more government administrations. Okay. So as we get the taxation under control... Okay, so that's a quest that's got a 2-year time limit to get paper prices under control. Should be doable. One thing to do... Well, that would help with the bureaucracy. Is we can go ahead and apply the next law, or next power block one to colonial offices. Okay, we got the bureaucracy we need. We just need more paper. Oh, I'm running a little low on money. Balance the budget by raising taxes. That'll make the government less legitimate, but I think we can tolerate that for the moment. At least until we're ready to pass more laws. And even if we want to pass more laws, we can probably do it. Could bring this guy in, do the swing with over to interventionalism or laissez-faire. You know, we'll leave that to next episode, looking at the time. We're coming up on an hour. I think this is probably a good place to put a part break in. I think the beginning of next episode is going to be building paper, and more paper. Because this is a government good. This is one of the things driving up the cost to the government a lot. If we can expand the paper, then we can expand the bureaucracy. If we can expand the bureaucracy, that expands our taxes. GDP is starting to come up. I think we were up over... We might up with like 30 million GDP in just an hour of gameplay. May not have been as efficient as I was in the other one, but we've also, as a benefit, we have a navy, we have an army, we now have the ability to put interests in many places around the world, potentially even some more when we do eventually modernize over to metal fleet. That will come up eventually. That's the next rung down here. After military tech 2 is military tech 3. Gantry crane is metal civilian ships. Ironclads is the metal warships. But yeah, probably go quinine. From quinine, we'll go mechanized workshops for the economy of scale. Probably then take the dash down into chemical bleaching for paper bleaching. And either we'll spread baking powder by then, or we'll quickly finish that up, and then probably make the dash down to pump checks. This will be another wave of industrialization, even though this is upgrades for plantations. The reason this is a wave of industrialization is that's a large demand for engines. So we're going to start very rapidly building engines, more engines. As well as dynamite's not bad. Did our company has not yet gotten profitable, which is a bit of a shame. All that it is... Well, it owns the trading centers, I suppose. That might be what's dragging it down. It's owning explosives, it's owning trade centers. Both of those are subsidized, but it's not making a lot of money off of those. Okay. Okay, and those are both things that we... Well, the trading centers maybe not so much, but the explosives is something we'll eventually start having a pretty heavy demand for as we start to swap over to using percussion caps for going to the skirmish infantry. Oh yeah, that's next time. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow. This is where we're going to end for the day. GDP, or the revenue on very high taxes, at least positive, if we don't want to run into debt. We might be a little bit more willing to run debt. Well, we're more willing than we were earlier in the game, and we're pretty easy. I suppose we could swap over to modernize or swap over to laissez-faire, and then we could eat a bunch of debt and it wouldn't be a problem. Though at the same time, 60% contested that's not that bad. Not feeling the need to not be on very high taxes. But on normal taxes, which is where we were before, we just raised the taxes. We're about negative 200. So we've raised government expenses by about 100,000 over the part here. Probably mostly in military goods. Well, I was about to say military goods, and then I'm realizing probably not. Probably all in government goods. But so that's the paper. We got to get the paper price under control. Yeah, that's the paper. We need to get the paper price under control. Okay. That's what we'll be doing early next episode. So until the next episode, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. And bye for now.